Without further ado, here to talk about the Medicaid expansion, which is up in the next couple of weeks in the state Senate. State Senator Vincent Gregory.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Good morning. How's everybody today? Good morning. Again, my name is Vince Gregory. I'm a state senator. I represent the 14th Senate District, and most of you probably know there's 38 senators in the state of Michigan. I'm one of the 14. I represent the southern end of Oakland County. I represent the communities, and if you bear with me, I'll tell you all the communities in case you've been through them. I represent Farmington, Farmington Hills, Southfield, Lathrop Village, Royal Oak Township, Oak Park, Ferndale, Huntington Woods, Pleasant Ridge, Hazel Park, Bingham Farms, Franklin, and Beverly Hills. 14 communities, about 270,000 people. I sit on the Appropriations Committee in the Senate, and on appropriations I sit on Community Health, Human Services, State Police, Veterans Affairs, and Senior Services. So as a Democrat, I am the Democratic representative on Community Health and Human Services, which handles all of the health care, hospitals, nursing homes, all health care in the state of Michigan. I sit on those committees and really the voice for the Democrats on those committees. So we just recently, most of you probably have followed the Medicaid expansion and what's been going on with that, and we recently had a subcommittee or a work group to come to some kind of what we hoped would be an agreement. I was appointed to that group, and I sat on that while we negotiated, and you know, initially as a Democrat, I was very suspect that this was just going to be, you know, you could sit here, but you're not going to be able to say nothing. You're not going to be able to input anything. So, and my first question was, is it really necessary that I'm here? Am I going to have a chance to say something? Am I going to be able to voice my views? And, you know, the Republicans said, yeah, you will. And so the biggest issue I had, obviously, was how much of a cost, because while we're having this subgroup, I'm thinking that the only reason we're having this is because there's a point that, you know, they want the recipients, the people that will be using the Medicaid expansion, to, as they call it, to have a vested interest or to pay some money into it. And as we know, the working poor, the people that would be able to use the Medicaid expansion, they can least afford to pay any money, at least of all the people. So I would, you know, wanted to find out to see if that was going to happen. As it turns out, there was no real change, substantive change from that what came out of the House of Representatives. So there was no real change in the amount of money. We found out that the federal government said that the most amount of money that you can charge anybody is 5%, and 3% of it, I think, 2% of it is a copay, 3% is just what they call incentive to a healthy living style, meaning that there's a 3% charge, but that can be reduced if you're a smoker. If you stop smoking, join smoking classes to eliminate that, it can be reduced to 0%, where you would only pay the 2% copay. But you know, even that though, 2% copay, if you're somebody that's making $8 an hour, 2% of your salary, that's still some money coming out of your salary. Of all the people, these people can least afford it, but yet, if people can go and to the doctor and receive health care, receive help, that means that these people are not coming into work, they're not taking time off. That helps everybody. It helps the employer, it helps the employee, helps the state of Michigan, helps everybody. So the big push is on for Medicaid expansion. After that work group, as I was told, originally that we're looking at August 27th to have a final vote on this Medicaid, actually to have a vote on the Medicaid expansion and hopefully pass it so that it would go into effect. August 27th. I did some reading yesterday from some articles I saw from Lansing, and it looks like it's still on, even though there is a push from some of the Republican colleagues in the Senate to introduce their own you know, views of the Medicaid expansion, interview their own programs. And hopefully it won't get any traction. You know, I know that from the Democrats, we would be able to support what's on the table right now. And when I left that committee, there was enough Republican support, so Medicaid expansion could have been approved at that time. We're hoping that it holds steady until August 27th, and then it's approved. And for those of you who don't know, but some of you are in healthcare, you probably do know, and probably most of you know, the number of people that would be eligible for this Medicaid expansion, it would start out at about 300,000 Michigan residents. And over about, I think it's the year 2020, they estimate that it would be 470,000 Michigan residents that would be eligible for Medicaid expansion. Now, and transitioning from that, and just to talk about that, and then moving into the affordable health care, they're saying with the affordable health care, and that'll go into effect January 1st of 2014, that they estimate that there will be 1.2 million Michigan residents that will be eligible for the affordable health care. So that's a lot of people in the state that's right now without health care that will be eligible for health care. So clearly, if you're looking for job opportunities, clearly healthcare is the place to go right now. I mean, that seems to be the big field that that will be growing by leaps and bounds. So, but we, I think, have to make sure that we follow this through. I don't know how many of you have even followed the, I'll start going back to the Medicaid expansion. There's groups out there now, and these are predominantly the conservative groups that are opposed to Medicaid expansion. And I'll tell you exactly what I've heard, and this is what I've heard. Now, you know, I haven't been in these inner circles of the Republicans, so I'll tell you what I heard on the outside is that the reason that they're opposed to the Medicaid expansion, and there's a lot of them that are really opposed to it, they're opposed to it because they say that if Medicaid expansion goes into place, that this will somehow vindicate or support President Obama's and his health care plan. This somehow says that that the state is now supporting President Obama, even though 300,000 people will now have health care. So it's almost like, so what are the people? We don't really care about the people. We just don't want to help the president. So if the people have to be casualties, so be it. What kind of society do we live in, or do we want to live in, if that's the philosophy that we have? So I've been fighting this since last year, and you know, my goal, because there's 38 senators, there's 26 Republicans and 12 Democrats, my goal with the Republicans has always been, if there's some kind of way that we can reach a compromise, if there's some kind of way that we can come together on some issues, it's much better than fighting and taking a position, well, I'm just going to say no to everything, because it doesn't accomplish, it doesn't get you anywhere. So you have to figure out, is there a middle ground, is there a common ground? And in some ways, I've been able to accomplish some things with the Medicaid expansion, the issues I told you about, the cost of it. We've held hard on that, and as a matter of fact, you should know that the governor's been in support of this, but it goes to show you how much support the governor has in his own party anytime he can't get it approved. But it has been, it looks like there's enough votes, so we're hoping that August 27th there will be a vote on it. I would encourage any and everybody, and a lot of you are in those positions where you talk to a lot of people, you see a lot of people that in the fields that you're in, healthcare is huge in your field, and I would encourage any and everybody that if you know somebody that can make it to Lansing on the 27th, to just be there in support of Medicaid expansion. That's always, always, always helpful. A lot of people believe that that their voice won't count, their vote won't count. And so why even bother? But it does make a difference. It truly, truly, truly does make a difference. There's one final thing I did want to touch base with, and that's on the Affordable Health Care Act. As I mentioned earlier, the Affordable Health Care Act will go into effect January 1st, 2014. And I think the young man passed out some information. It was with the Michigan Consumers for Health Care. There are several groups, and let me just say this, that Michigan did not opt to have an exchange. We did not choose to have an exchange. And does everybody know what an exchange is? Lost, huh? Okay. Well, you know, and don't feel, because there's a lot of people that have no clue what's going on with this Medicaid, with the affordable health care, the expansion. But the exchange, because we're getting ready to move into this affordable health care January 1st. The federal government is funding all of this, and they were listing an exchange to help people navigate the system to be able to, you would have a place to call. For instance, if you had, you would now be eligible for health care in 2014, right? So you may have specific issues in your family. And so for the first time, you have a chance to get a health care, but you don't even know what questions to ask. You don't know what company to go to. You have no clue. So that's why they had the exchanges, and they had these navigators, they call them navigators, to help people navigate the system to be able to get, hopefully, the best health coverage that they could get, or the company that would represent them the best. You know, not saying that any of them are bad, but different companies may offer different things, so you need a navigator to help you to get to who would best represent you. So the federal government offered this to the state of Michigan as they offered it to all the states in the country. What they call like the marketplace. This was all paid for by the federal government, so it would help you to be able to navigate the system and help you to be able to get your insurance. Michigan opted out of that individually, so we're not doing it. The federal government is doing it, but we could have done it right here in the state of Michigan, which means that through the state, we could have set up agencies, we could have set up departments, maybe through the Department of Community Health, where you would call if you had issues, and we could direct you to different departments or different people to help you to be able to navigate the system to get the insurance that you would need. But we didn't do that. So the federal government is running it. And because the federal government is running it, it's not, you're not seeing a real big blitz of the affordable health care going into effect January 1st. Sign up is October 1st. The sign-ups for this start October 1st. And most people don't even know that. They don't know that it signs up October 1st. And because of that, we, as myself, as a senator, and some other colleagues and other groups like your group, we're trying to get the message out and the word out to as many people as we possibly can.
Let's give Senator Gregory a round of applause.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for your time.